So, are you nervous?
No.
A little nervous?
Not yet.
Not at all nervous?
All right. So all we do is fucking talk, so. now it's just with the mic involved.
It is. Okay, so 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we are here at the GSE HQ, and I have a very special guest, longtime friend of mine. Why don't you introduce yourself?
My name is Tracy Gough.
Big round of applause for Tracy Gough. Tracy, what brings you onto the podcast? Because we've been trying to do this for a while.
I know, my schedule sucks. Well, one, the drinks. 100%. The alcohol definitely lured me over. The food that we just had, and to talk about my business, After Dark Airbrush Tanning. And also just because we've been friends for so long and we kind of started our businesses around the same time and like grew together. I think that's really interesting. So
it's been a long friendship.
Yeah.
How many years? What was it, 2007?
Yeah, just about. So
you might be my longest friend. You might. Yeah, so tell us a little bit about After Dark.
All right. So After Dark Airbrush Tanning is an organic mobile airbrush tanning service that goes to people's homes, offices, venues, anywhere pretty much that we can just pop up a tent, and we use our all organic solution to airbrush people. So instead of going to the sun or tanning beds, you can kind of get a nice natural looking tan within 30 minutes or less, typically in the privacy of your home, which is really nice for moms or just girls who don't want to walk into a tanning salon and feel really, embarrassed with the no makeup and the baggy clothing. And I've been doing it for about, how long have I been doing this? Airbrushing for about 10 years, but I started After Dark about 8 years ago.
So about as long as we've been friends.
Yeah.
So it's because of me.
Yeah, that's what we're going to chalk it up to. You inspire me, Kyle.
I try. That's what I'm here for. So you had mentioned that it's an organic solution?
Yes. The healthy alternative.
What makes it healthy versus... Are there products out there that are... not so much healthy?
Yeah, I mean, typically a lot of the times when you go into tanning salons, not naming any names, it could be really any mom and pop shop or even a chain. You walk into these tanning salons and it's like, light, medium, or dark, what do you want to do today, ma'am? And it's like, no, because if you're really pale, if you want to go really dark, it's not going to look very natural. There's a lot of DHA in it. That's what tends to bring out that orange in color. And a lot of these companies tend to buy wholesale, which is fine. But it has a really long shelf life. So, that solution could be sitting there for, 2 years.
Right.
And that's not healthy. I don't care what anyone says. That is not meant to be. Where, our solution will go bad within 28 days if it's not used. It'll start turning green. It's mostly made out of aloe, sugar cane. Those are the main ingredients. There's oat, there's wheat, but nothing to the extent of any allergic reactions or anything. So, that's what's a little bit different about it.
Okay. Hold on 1 second. I'll edit that out. Well, we got a request. He's asking for a cigarette.
You walked all the way down
Joe
here. That's
has joined the podcast. Joe, why don't you come say hi, Joe?
Okay, you want to say hi?
Yeah. Jump in front of one of the cameras. Just a quick hello.
Cameras too?
Yeah, right here. We got him here and then over here.
I don't want no cameras.
Joe, we got the Yankees tomorrow.
Sure do, brother.
We do. We gonna win?
I fucking hope so. Well, we should. I mean, we're playing the Orioles. Not too good this year.
We got to sweep the Orioles.
Yeah.
Joe Prisco is on the podcast. He made a very surprise cameo, if you will.
Yes.
Joe, welcome to the podcast, man.
Thank you. I was at the bar before I ran into these guys, and
now he's here.
Yeah, I'm trying to quit smoking, and I found out there's some cigs here, so I had to stop over.
Well, you gotta fix the hunger every now and then.
What do you guys got on this?
We are actually sampling that.
Sampling?
Yeah.
Can I take a sample?
Should we make it a three-person thing, or?
Hey, I'm down a sample.
All right. Get yourself a thing of ice and a cup And now we have a trifecta, if you will.
Yeah, I just texted Kev. I was like, what's Kyle's number? I was going to text you before because I knew you were doing this.
Yeah, so
Get your seat back.
There you go.
we got some madness going on. So we'll get you some ice. We'll get you... How did you make it for him?
What did I do for hours? I just did what the bottle told me to.
For those of you that are wondering what we're passing around, it's Stoli crushed, what is it, ruby red?
What is it, vodka? Stoli?
I believe so. It's ruby red grapefruit. We saw it on the shelf. It looked really tasty.
Yeah,
I'm not a grapefruit guy, but let's see. I'll dabble.
it was easier than going and getting a blender.
Did we give him the club
No,
soda?
not yet. You gotta put that in.
Right. So we'll get it. All right. So.
Try it.
Yeah. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
All right. Joe has gone with the chug.
That was
Yeah, what do we think about that?
stronger than I thought it was going to be. Honestly, I thought it was supposed to be like super fruity and delicious, but definitely taste the vodka in that.
Yeah. Lots of vodka.
No, yeah, you sure do. And it's not bad. I'm not a grapefruit guy, but, I could dabble with that. It's not too bad. But it's definitely strong. Plus,
Yeah,
we have
right?
the seltzer in there, too. So, that's...
Little
Can
bubble.
you imagine without the seltzer though?
Yeah,
I'm really happy we got the seltzer.
Yeah.
if you raw dog that,
Podcast
it's
taking
definitely...
a wrong turn real quick.
Yeah, damn. What is it?
This is what we're dealing with right here. What?
Oh, so it is vodka. I didn't know it was vodka.
Yeah.
Do we give it another taste and give it a number grade?
Okay.
All right, so let's turn the mics a little bit closer to you guys. And hold on. We are going to first go with you. So what do we think, Tracy? What is the overall grade? Are we going out of 10?
Of Stoli's crushed, we have to name ruby red grapefruit. Gluten-free, may I add.
Got to be gluten-free. Today has to be.
I would say like a 6
Okay.
for me.
Joe?
All right, well, this one, with the seltzer, I'm giving... I don't like grapefruit, but, I'll give it a 4. Without it...
As he finishes it.
Honestly, I think it tastes better without it.
Without it, huh?
Yeah, no, it tastes a little like... Yeah, no, I like it better without it, to be honest. I have ice in there, too, so it's not just straight raw
Yeah,
dog.
ours like
Yeah.
watered down real quick.
I'm going with it. It's not the worst thing I've ever tasted.
No, definitely not.
no.
There's some flavored vodka that sucks.
Yeah,
I just
it ain't
expected
like
it to be a little bit
Majorska
more
or something,
like-
Right.
Like beachy.
Yeah.
Like this is like I drink this with my friends on like a Saturday night. I was aiming for more of like a
Right.
Give
nice
it a
vodka
whirl
now.
without the seltzer.
I would probably give it with the seltzer. I'd probably give it a 6.5. It does tell you that you can mix it with club soda. So
Try
I
it
guess if we're
straight
gonna
up.
try it without the seltzer.
Yeah, I mean, I think it tasted a little better for me. It's like you get more of the artificial, sweeter taste with it. You know what I mean?
Who doesn't want that?
Yeah, a little sugar. Don't have
Still
no body.
gluten-free.
Still gluten free. Are you gonna try it without the
Yeah, come on.
seltzer?
You got it.
You got it right at this point.
Yeah.
All right, let's see.
Here, you go first, and then I'll. I don't feel like getting up for another cup.
There, you pour yours into mine.
It's definitely better without the seltzer.
Think so?
Yeah, as far as the taste wise goes, it tastes like.
Still with ice though, right? That's like.
Yeah, I actually
He
didn't
did
do
raw.
it with the ice. Yeah, but I would say that it tastes more like a grapefruit without the seltzer.
Like I'm wafting.
Bougie. Damn.
Oh God, I'm old. Not funny. That's strong. I didn't think it was gonna be that strong. That's impressive.
So I'm guessing you like it with the seltzer.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with the seltzer. 'Cause
Yeah?
I'm old. That's what happens.
How old are you? You're not that old.
28.
28. Well, you're looking good for
Can't take
28.
that. Why? Thank you.
No problem. No problem.
I'm like, you know what it is? It's like vodka and stuff now without like mixing a drink. It's just like, I'll be hammered in like 10 minutes. I gotta drive home.
Well, isn't that
drink responsibly, people.
Yes.
Isn't that the point? Always drink responsibly. But, don't drink and drive, but, if you're drinking, you're trying to have a good time.
So overall, I'd say with the seltzer, I would give it a 6. Without it, it's a good shot. I'd give it probably like a 7.
So the real question is, though, would you drink it? Hey, we're going out with the boys. We're hanging out.
Would you buy it?
I wouldn't say no. Like, I wouldn't see it and be like, ugh, I don't want it. Like, I would have it.
Well, you said you would have. Would you buy it?
But you wouldn't buy it.
If I want,
listen, Stoley's not going to sponsor you. Don't worry about it.
If I was at a bar and there was a female there, and she was single.
Yeah.
Because
well, you would drink shit if she asked to drink this. You know what I mean?
We're not cheating or anything like that. No, I don't know. I guess if somehow she's like, oh, I love grapefruits, like, be like, all right, well, that shot's pretty good. Yeah, I know a drink.
Folks, basically what he's saying is he would not buy it and he wouldn't drink it unless there's a single female there that likes it.
Yes.
So that
it's good enough to buy if somebody else wants it.
Yes. I agree with that.
To put it, yeah.
Yeah.
Right? What would you guys give it?
I'm still 6.
Okay. Even both.
Yeah. I probably wouldn't go out of my way to buy it for my girlfriends. I would just do yeah.
I mean, I drink the same thing every time. I'm a JMO guy and Bud Light guy, and that's that. You know what I mean? That's that. But,
the classics.
Yeah. Well, those are fucking, what you gotta do.
Those are the go-to guys.
Yeah,
right there.
go-to. What's your go-to?
Uncle Tito's.
You like Tito's?
Yeah.
Really? You're a vodka guy?
Yeah, I like Tito's, but then Jack and Jameson's good too if I want to forget things.
What about beer-wise?
Beer-wise, my favorite beer is Oktoberfest, Sam Adams.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise,
respect that.
Stella, and then Coors Light.
Oh, you're a Stella guy. You like Beck's?
Yeah, Beck's isn't bad.
I feel like Beck's and Stella's kind of the same area, right?
Yeah, the aftertaste is fairly similar.
What's your go-to?
For beer, yeah, pretty much like Stella.
Stella
like
too?
Beers, yeah. Or like I'm really into like ciders.
Yeah.
I love like mixed ciders, like the Rosé, Angry Orchard. Like,
take me back to the fall.
What about White Claw? Dude, White Claws are fucking awesome.
White Claws they're not bad. Did they just get in trouble for having something in them? Didn't they just come under some scrutiny for having something?
I didn't hear about that. No.
I don't know.
Those are like so great for the beach because you just add ice and it's like you don't wake up in a hangover if you fall asleep on your towel.
Oh no,
an hour.
Yeah, I wake up with a hangover then. But you know what's funny about them too? A lot of people drink these seltzers thinking that it's low calorie.
Yeah.
But you drink them, they actually have more calories than Bud Lights do.
Right.
Which is kind of crazy. You think because it's seltzer, you know what I mean? It's not. They taste light, but it's not. They got a lot of sugar, I guess.
Yeah.
It's got to be something with the flavor.
Yeah.
Right? I mean.
But I'll let you guys go. I'll let you
Joe,
guys do your thing.
It was a pleasure, man.
Yeah, this is a quick stop.
Thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah.
Listen, whenever you want a full episode, you're more than welcome to come by.
Let me know. Use my lighter.
Let me know.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are having a little break, and we will be right back.
You want to come out?
By myself. So. And we're back. We did
Brief intermission.
We did it. All right. So, yeah, this isn't bad.
No.
I would have
It's just stronger than I anticipated.
Yeah.
That's what it was. It was just
definitely probably have another one now that now that he's gone.
Next time we gotta like get a blender and like really go to town, make those fruity blue drinks,
Yeah, those what were those even called?
I'll write up some recipes.
Yeah,
I'll get some good ones, yeah.
We'll just slide this closer. Okay, so where were we? After dark?
Yeah.
The solutions.
Yes.
Right? Now, what you mentioned something that's interesting to me is the preservatives. It sounds like.
Yeah.
So are they harmful too? But are they potentially harmful to clients or people that use it?
No, not at all.
Not yours, but the ones that are like...
no, not exactly. It's just a lot of places that I've come to find.
You drinking those? That one's you.
Mine.
All right.
It's just, once again, the shelf life, that kind of is a big turn off, especially for a lot of clients that are like vegan and organic and super, into their health and what they're putting on their skin. And when you walk into a store and you can see dust piling up on like some bottles and that's what they're pouring on someone, like, not an ideal situation.
Yeah.
And if they don't advertise, like when I had to get trademarked in the United States for After Dark Airbrush Tanning, I actually had to prove legal documentation that my solution was organic, vegan friendly, because organic was in the name. So
Just
that's
by the
huge,
FDA?
yeah.
Or? Okay.
So we had to prove all that. So a lot of places too, if they don't have actual legal proof that they're organic, which you can ask, then I honestly wouldn't go with them. It's just, it's not worth the risk. I came to realize, I was about like 20 years old when I started After Dark, and it kind of set the standard because I was doing a lot of bed tanning, I'm not proud to say, but throughout high school into college, I was in the tanning booths, I want to say like 2 to 3 times a week
Well,
for
you
at
were
least 12
also
minutes.
very Jersey Shore.
Yes, I was a little bit
I referred to you as the
different back
closest thing to JWowws I ever knew in my life.
with the black hair and the facial piercings and the really dark
Yeah,
tan.
you did have the facial piercing,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Where?
I had the lip, the eyebrow. I had the belly button. I had multiple in my ear, and
Wow.
then it was literally one day I woke up and I looked in the mirror and I was like, "What the hell am I doing?" And I just took them all out. I've never seen my dad be any prouder than that moment when he was like, "Oh, thank God you don't look like this anymore." But when I was around 20 years old, I went into a dermatologist, and at first they were like, "Oh, you're too young to be here." And I was like, "Well, I'm bed tanning. I'm not really, I'm a little bit nervous. I want to start getting checked." And they really brushed me off up until they did a full body check. And at the age of 20, they found like kind of like a mole on my back. And that like week to 2 week wait of finding out like if it's something, even if it's something so
Right.
minor, it just at the age of 20 reminds you like you're not indestructible.
Yeah.
Like anything can happen. And that was when I didn't want to do the bed tanning anymore. So I started getting airbrushed by a major chain, and I was working there at the time also. And I started getting airbrushed, and I looked like a walking Oompa Loompa. Like, there was no other way to put it. I looked absolutely ridiculous because I am very pale and Irish, and those dark colors did not look right on me, and it was because of the amount of DHA that was in that solution. So when I created After Dark, after a year or two, because I was very young, I set off to create my own solution, and that's when I linked up with a company that actually created it for me, and I removed the DHA out. And so we actually on site customize each individual tan for that client. So what's really cool is I can walk into a bridal party where I have someone with really olive skin and I have someone who's really pale, and each tan is customized based on their skin tone at that moment and what they're looking to achieve. Where most places you walk into and these are your options and that's it.
Right.
So we mix the color on location, so it gives more of a natural look, which is why we've gotten really popular with wedding parties, and then even weekly clients. People book weekly, bi-weekly, all the time. So
Right. So what is it? I guess not. Who is it that you cater to, but where can something like this be offered as far as like potential outreach to prospective clients rather?
Well, definitely, I want to say within the last 5 years, After Dark has kind of taken over more of the wedding industry. Brides, especially, when you get a really good service, which, as you know, being the local DJ that also travels to multiple states, just like
Yeah.
After Dark, we're in New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Connecticut. We mostly did that because we were appealing to wedding parties. They don't want 15 girls walking into a store. They don't want girls going at separate times. It was easier to get everyone at someone's apartment or house and just get airbrushed at once. So wedding parties tend to definitely be the biggest selling point because it's a lot more natural. You don't want to look ridiculous in your wedding photos. You don't want to look like you have a spray tan.
You don't want to look like Trump, kind of.
Everyone always asks me about that. They're like, "Does he get spray tan?" I'm like, "No."
What do you think he does? Not
So-
diving into politics, but what do you think? Looking at his skin, what do you think he does?
So everyone always asks me if it's spray tanning, and it is not. One, yes, he does get a lot of makeup put on him for press conferences, even before becoming president.
Yeah.
He golfs. and he golfs a lot and he's out in the sun. So the reason his hands and his eyes are always so white compared to the rest of his body is because he's wearing sunglasses and gloves.
Oh.
So it does give the illusion he does have a spray tan, but he does not.
People don't. I think you cracked the code or
a lot of
the
people
case.
ask me that. Yeah.
That's
even my dad at one
interesting.
point, he was like, does he? And I was like, no.
That's interesting.
You
Yeah,
know-
because not to cut you off, I brought it up yesterday actually.
Really?
My mom and I, everybody's watching the whole Russia thing. No collusion. No, whatever's going on with that. But I asked her. I said, "Do you think he's got like tons of makeup on?" And not to bash him, I'm just trying to figure out because
of course.
it's a distinct color.
Yes.
Very distinct. And I said it's got to be makeup because
The makeup is not helping.
around the eyes it's different, and I'm like, maybe that's his skin color when and whoever the makeup artist is sucks because it's very defined.
hard
But
to
when
blend,
you say
yeah.
sunglasses,
Well, and that's what a lot of people, and it's not just him actually. So one
are
of the
his
things,
hands?
they are typically more of a white color because he's wearing gloves, and also, and I have clients not to that extent of that orange red look. But I do have clients that naturally, that's how they look when they tan, when they're out in the sun for long periods of time. And also you have to remember that as you're developing, from, about when you're 20 years old all the way until like, say your 50s, men see it a lot where they work outside, they're working on the lawn all the time, and then they have this tan line that will never go away. It's like the permanent farmer's tan. And I'm sure you probably already have a guinea pig one slowly showing from your Jersey Shore days.
My Jersey Shore days.
But that's pretty much what happens is they develop this tan and then it doesn't kind of fade away that much. And then when you add more and more sun to it, it just kind of sticks around.
Yeah. I got burned really bad this summer. I went to the Hamptons and I was there with now my ex, but we had this spray suntan.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I thought not only did I fry myself, but I fried her in certain parts, like her knee, I think, and maybe a shoulder, but I got on my left arm. I remember I was sitting down we were there for like 3.5 hours, and like it felt great, and then all of a sudden it caught up to me, and I was like, I remember I told her, I was like, I gotta get up, I gotta go somewhere with like an air conditioning because like the heat just got to me, and I have this it's faded now, but it's still like a scar.
Yeah.
It's almost like a brown. It's not real. Like you have to look at it.
I call them, it's not a legal term, so don't quote me on it, but I call them sun scars.
It feels like it.
Yeah. And that's what tends to happen is whether it's tanning recreationally where you're like, well, I'm not burning, so it must be better for me. No, a tan is still a form of burning. It's like roasting a chicken.
Yeah.
And in fact, I have clients that, and not to scare young listeners that, are thinking about doing the airbrushing over the tanning or laying out, but where certain parts of their body does not, get any tan whatsoever from the sun or beds, and the airbrush solution doesn't absorb because that's how damaged their skin is. And I'm talking about, like, I've had girls 21 years old. They're already showing that sun damage where on their chest especially, because women and men alike, right here on your chest, right near your heart is the thinnest part of where your skin is, and that's why we tend to burn or tan more quickly up on the chest or even your arms.
Right.
And the sun damage typically builds up on the chest first, and I can almost always see that when I'm airbrushing a client, what kind of skin damage they have on that and their shoulders.
Is there a way to reverse that?
I mean, it's just taking really good care of yourself, avoiding the sun, which I hate to say. And people tend to think because I own an organic airbrush tanning business, I'm like totally vegan and, I'm porcelain white and I hide from the sun. That is not the case whatsoever. Vitamin D is very good for you.
Right.
But if you already know that you have a skin condition or you already have some sort of sun damage or you were using the tanning beds for a long time and laying out, then you need to be more well aware, especially if you're coming into your like late 20s. Start picking up on that. And to touch base on the suntan, the SPF solution you were using, I actually, for clients, I set up suntan and bed tanning regimens for clients that like will not give up the tanning beds or going into the sun. And the first thing I always tell them is not to use that spray suntan lotion, because it is the worst thing you can do because of the aerosol in it. Sometimes it can create more severe burns than actually help you. So
Oh, really?
Yes. You want to use
Wow.
mineral-based because it tends to be a little bit more healthy. And what you can do is you can get suntan lotion, typically around 50 the most. And before you step into the sun, if you're on vacation, your hotel room, or even driving down the shore, lather yourself in it. And I'm talking about even before you put on your bathing suit. Start head to toe and completely cover yourself. Then bring the spray onto the beach if you want to do some touch-ups. You jumped in the water, you want to get back out, you don't want to get sandy. Use it that way, but always use the lotion first and cover yourself from literally your hairline all throughout the back of your ears
Just
down to
everywhere.
your toes.
Just douse yourself.
Yes. And I would do that 2 times if you're laying out in the sun for a long period of time, like say 9 a.m. to 3, especially if you're going to be out during that prime color time.
6
and then
hours.
touch up. Yeah. So we will send out, if we go and we airbrush a client and they're going to Bermuda, and where I'm super jealous, I will actually email them or send them a form that actually gives them kind of like a regimen of how to sunblock, when to lotion. Like if you have sunburn, typically the best time to apply lotion or aloe is immediately when you get out of the shower, when you're still in the bathroom where it's nice and steamy and still hot. Because your pores are smaller, so you can really get in, moisturize, start the healing process before you step out into air conditioning. So we do all these sort of things for clients.
Right.
Because some people, it's understandable. You're going to go to the beach. You're going
Yeah.
to go on vacation. You're not going to sit in a tent the entire time,
You're going to get burned.
Yeah, so there's all different things we kind of set up for clients on what they're looking for. I tell people if you get sun poisoning very easily, which some people do because they are very pale, you can use the tanning beds. You can get a healthy base. Then we can come and airbrush you as dark as you want to go, but just don't tan recreationally. That's not ideal. That is how you will get skin cancer. And that's why I think it was 2 years ago, the Surgeon General finally released a warning against it and was like, stop tanning recreationally. It is not
It took
healthy.
them a while to
Yes.
put something out.
Yes. Well, because it was always that back and forth of where vitamin D is very healthy for you. You should be outside in the sun. It helps with depression and all these things. But at the same time, there was a huge spike in skin cancer when the tanning beds became popular, like right around, I want to say between the 70s and 80s. There was a massive spike in skin cancer. So it attributed to it. But it doesn't mean that, we should shut down every bed tanning salon in the tri-state area.
Right.
Like, just do it healthy,
Right. It's like in moderation.
Exactly.
Nothing is too bad.
Exactly.
That's interesting. I remember going back to the fun days of the Jersey Shore. Paulie D was always saying, the vitamin D.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he was joking or not, but he does it like every day.
Yeah.
What's up with him? How does he not have it by now? Do you think?
A lot of it too is genetics. If you have skin cancer in your family, the chances of you getting it are much higher. And some people it's just like people who get lung cancer and have never had a cigarette in their life. It really is about genetics and environment and also, if you protect yourself well enough, when I tell people if you are going to use the tanning beds, use a bed tanning lotion. Do it in moderation. I doubt he's doing it every day. I know people who also have tanning beds in their basements that have luckily never had anything pop up on them. But, it's, especially when you're getting to later age of your life, you'll start seeing the wrinkling more. Already, you look at him and you can clearly, people tend to think he's a little bit older than he is.
Yeah.
Because already that's really starting the crow's feet around the eyes.
How old is he? He's still in his 30s, right?
But the same can also...
39, 38?
Yeah.
Something like that, right?
But the same can also, I tell clients all the time, and they're like, I want to be Bermuda black. Like, I don't care what anyone says. I want to be dark. And we're like, no.
Yeah,
because
it's
just
not how
that
that
color
works.
can tend to make you look, even if it's the most natural dark color, it can really make you look older than you are if you're going that dark.
Well, you see it with people like bodybuilders. They put on that heavy duty, I don't even know what it's called, but it turns them brown.
Yeah.
Sometimes black.
Yes.
and they look older.
Yes.
And, I can't imagine that if you spray tan, it's not going to be very similar. I mean, it has to be.
Yeah.
So
there's definitely a different, and I tell people because people will be like, oh, I'm sure you do bodybuilders all the time. And when we first started out, absolutely. We did get 1 or 2 here and there. But honestly, a lot of the time, it's just better for them to do it at home because it's such a regimen, and it takes like 3 days sometimes for that to even process.
Are they tanning a lot when they do that, or is it just like a one-time?
Usually,
like,
the products we used to use for the bodybuilders were about a 3-day process. They would have to do it 3 days in a row, and it was different types of competitions. And I started honestly just being frank with those customers, being like, you're better off kind of doing this at home using, the rollers, things. There's at-home kits for them because to come there 3 days in a row to use that process, it was just a lot.
Right.
And to be honest, it was just After Dark being what After Dark organic airbrush tanning is. We were more appealing to brides, and we were traveling down to Cape May for bridal parties and up here. So doing that 3-day regimen was a little bit more difficult than the one time, stop. Where we go in, we tan, and we're on our way, 30 minutes or less.
Kind of thing.
Yeah. And I do know other, when people ask, like, no, I still want to do it at a tanning salon, where can I go? I always give them recommendations. I'm in communities with other airbrush tanning companies, things like that, more store locations, and I always refer them that way. But yeah, they're pretty dark. I actually had a client a couple of years ago. She bed tanned regularly, refused to stop. She looked much older than she was, but and she used the bodybuilding solution and the self tanner, but she wasn't a bodybuilder. That's just how dark she wanted to be.
Wow.
And it got to the point where we were kind of like, she was so addicted to it that we were kind of like, listen, we're going to be completely honest with you. You may need a little bit of help. We cannot get you as dark as you want to go anymore. Yeah. And that's when we kind of took the step back. But we're always very honest with clients too. And that's where I said we walk in and someone's like, I want to be Bermuda dark. We can do that and still make it look natural. But we're going to be honest with you and say, it's going to look silly. You have to remember who you're standing next to, and it's, March.
Yeah, what do people...
Most people, when we get on location, are like, whatever you think looks best.
Right.
And that always works out great.
What do you think is going on with people when they want to do something like that? You think it's a self-esteem thing where they feel like they're too light on the skin complexion scale?
A little bit of both, yeah.
The color scale, if you will?
Yeah. One thing that definitely is a common compliment across, all our clientele, older women, young women, prom girls, brides, is that they always feel skinnier when they're tan. Especially with the airbrushing, you're doing a little bit more contouring. We use special techniques that just make it look very natural, like a suntan. And they always feel skinnier, or they feel better about themselves. They can use less makeup, or they just get their eyelash extensions in a spray tan and they feel great for 2 weeks. And a lot of that, and I don't fault them on that, because if I had time to get spray tanned myself in my eyelash extensions, I'd feel great too.
Feel amazing.
But yeah, it always comes down to self-esteem. We want to look good, we want to feel good, and but it's once again too, when we come to clients, we're always explaining, like, we're enhancing your features, we're not covering them.
Right.
We want you to be yourself, and we want you to look as natural as possible and feel good. And you'll do that by enhancing what you already have, not looking like we stuck you in a vat of solution and hung you up to dry. That doesn't look real, and you're not going to be happy with yourself. And you're going to look back on those pictures and be like, what the hell was I thinking? Yeah, like my prom photos.
Were you super tan for your prom photos?
Yeah. It wasn't cute.
You were...
Those are tucked away under the bed, and the very, very dark, and I have blonde hair. Just
when did we meet? What grade? I had just graduated high school, and you are 2 grades younger than me?
Yeah, because I was a junior.
So I would have seen those at some point on MySpace, probably.
Probably, yeah.
God,
those were the MySpace days.
Was it Tom? Tom from MySpace?
Tom, yes.
Is that it? Yeah.
Oh my God, poor Tom.
Everybody was friends with Tom.
Poor Tom.
I don't think he ever got invited to any parties, though.
No, but everyone had him on his top 8.
He was the number 1.
I hope he's doing well.
I don't even know if MySpace is still around. I think it
It
is.
was being used for music, wasn't it?
I think so. It got really big for music for a while.
Yeah.
I know a lot of bands were using it.
Yeah.
And then Facebook came around. And I remember when Facebook, before it became what it is today, was just this...
We were just talking about that.
It was a place where, like, you had to have a college email to use Facebook at one point. And then if you didn't, you had to prove, I think, that you were much older and trying to find people to connect with.
Yeah.
I remember I had a Facebook and I was like, fuck this. This is never going to work.
Yeah. I remember our mutual friend Felicia coming out to, I can remember, I was standing out in the courtyard of our high school, and she was like, oh, you have to sign up for Facebook. And I was like, this looks stupid. Like, this is never, MySpace all the way.
Generic looking.
Yeah. And then it was like, and it was always Tracy Gough is. It's like Tracy Gough is very sleepy.
With the status updates.
Yeah, and you could see who's the little plus sign and stuff. And I was like, oh, this is never going to take. And now, like, here we are, with our businesses on Facebook and everything and the advertising. And the way it blew up was, like, incredible.
Yeah. What made you want to be your own boss? I mean, we've been talking about it for a while.
Oh, yeah.
So I kind of have an idea, but, for sake of the podcast, why do it? I mean...
In full honesty,
there are headaches.
Yes.
But
Oh my God, being self-employed is like a nightmare.
Yeah.
And it's really funny. I tell people that all the time. I'm like, no, this sucks.
They're like, it must be great. You get to wake up
you set your own hours. Yeah. No, my clients set my hours.
Yeah. The fucking email that I get at 3 a.m. Yeah. Yeah. Guess who's answering it at 3:15?
Yep.
Yep.
I'm not gonna lie, and I've said this to my dad a couple of times. I think I may have mentioned it in a blog post, but growing up, and it's gonna sound so naive, but I was never good with authority, and I always felt like I had better ideas than like everyone else.
Shocking.
And I can remember being like young, like in my bedroom, sticking a sign on my door that said nail salon or like this, and I always liked to pretend I was doing accounting, and I always like wanted to do something. And then it was towards the end of high school where I wanted to be a criminal psychology.
Yeah, I remember we talked about that.
I was in criminal psychology because, my love for horror movies. And I'd seen Halloween very young, and I wanted to be...
Every July you're ready for Halloween?
I am. Right? I'm ready for... it's March and I'm ready for Halloween.
It's coming. We're almost to April, which is the 4th month, so we're almost halfway.
My Halloween stuff is a full year round.
We're almost, almost halfway to 10.
Yeah. But I wanted to be Dr. Loomis from Halloween, if anyone knows that movie, which I hope they do.
If not, she's coming for you.
Yeah. And then I was in college, and I'm not going to lie, it just wasn't for me. I wasn't a good test taker. I wasn't good at, like, getting there by a certain time, which sounds really silly and childlike, but... and then I started kind of doing this on the side while working and going to school, and it was just so overwhelming. And I actually started having like full-blown panic attacks. I was like, I'm never going to get through college. I couldn't pass math. I was terrible at math. And my dad just kind of said, after I was running my business for quite a while, he was like, why do you need a piece of paper to tell people you can run your business?
Yeah, there was a friend of mine. He owns... Crecco's in Rivervale, and he said he only sat through one or a handful of classes and then got up, and he told me that he left, and he's like, I know what I want to do.
Yeah. And
sometimes you just know.
And I had no idea, actually. Yeah. I knew school wasn't for me, but everyone should stay in school. Disclaimer. But
do you believe that, though?
I do believe certain people, like, I know trades are really, dwindling down because everyone's going to college. But the tanning thing really just came to me because I kept coming up with good ideas. No one was ever listening to me. And I just decided, like, on a whim, I'm going to do my own thing while I'm going to school.
Good ideas as far as with tanning?
Yeah, it was like, I think if we made a solution like this, it would work a lot better. If we made products like this, it would work a lot better. What if we went to people's homes? If we set up a store without, and to each their own, but, like, without the techno music, somewhere where, someone my mom's age could walk in and feel comfortable coming into a room, stripping down and getting tanned.
More of a, like, professional atmosphere.
Exactly. And... no matter what tanning salon I went to, it was like hot pinks and purples and techno music. And I just thought it was so silly. And I just had this whole new idea for it. And then I went to my dad and I was like, I'm going to start a tanning salon. He's like, yeah, with what money? I was like, good point. And that's how we became mobile, was because I couldn't afford a store. I didn't know what the heck I was doing.
Do you recommend going mobile with, I mean, if you can, right?
Yeah.
Because for me, I could, and I did, I was mobile.
Yeah.
You know, aka working at a home and, you know, internet base and all that. So largely mobile, no
And you
office.
killed it. So
Yeah.
here we are now in your headquarters.
Very fortunate that things worked out. Very fortunate that I know how to play music. Now, I joke around, but people don't get it. We talked about this before off the quote unquote air, if you will. But like, you're paying for somebody to perform well, not just well, like exceed an expectation, and that's one of the most important things that people don't look at when you are doing a wedding. Because that's largely what we provide services for, is weddings.
Yeah.
When you're paying for a wedding, people are going to know two things right off the bat. And the first one they're going to forget about. The venue, they're going to show up to it and be like, wow, this is really nice.
Pretty lights.
Yeah, pretty lights. Wow, the carvings in the wall are really nice. The statue outside. The only thing that they're going to remember from the wedding is if they had a good time.
Yeah.
And if you have a band and they do great, awesome. But a lot of weddings are doing DJs, and I can't tell you how many nightmare stories I hear where it's like, we should have went with you.
Yep.
And I'm not just saying that because I am a DJ, but you have to, it's got to be your career. Like I said earlier, again, off air, you could have your friend or your uncle do it, and it's nice, and, you know, oh yeah, Uncle Jimmy did it for us, you know, and you look back on it, and it's nice, and you're doing it in your backyard, and, you know, it's fun, you know, it's fun. But if it's not something that they do for a living, like, you don't get the same, I guess, effort, if you will, out of your announcements with the introductions for the reception. The way that the night's orchestrated, it just kind of can feel chaotic. If their paycheck to paycheck, if you will, doesn't depend on it, and they can't pay their bills on it and everything like that, if this isn't their only source of income, you know,
that's a huge difference. You know,
9 out of 10 times.
I've had clients where, and I kid you not, and once again, same thing as you, I'm not saying it because I think After Dark is the best, but where I've shown up to wedding parties where I've airbrushed one of the bridesmaids before or something, and they've always said, you know, oh, I went to some hair salon that did spray tanning in the back, and it is just not the same. And it's the same thing because they don't specialize in it. So After Dark, and one thing that I think really appeals to in the wedding industry, and just like you, where at least you also do multiple things, is we specialize in this area for weddings. We will make sure that not only does your tan look amazing or your music sound good or whatever it is, but you're going to get the best experience out of it. And I think that makes the biggest difference when hiring, for example. I could hire someone that does the best spray tans in the tri-state area. She's the best. But if she walks into your house, doesn't speak, doesn't smile the entire time, doesn't give you a good experience as you're half naked in front of her, what's the point?
It's going to be
awkward and uncomfortable.
That's what they remember. And that's going back, not to hog the podcast, but going back to weddings, they remember the experience.
Exactly.
They remember the dancing, the whole night. They don't remember, oh, the cake looks so nice.
Or I said earlier, like, that DJ plays, like, your favorite song. And, like, you get all your friends out onto the dance floor. It's like, those are the things you remember. You leave that. You don't remember the centerpieces. You don't remember the food. Like, the food's okay. Cocktail hour is, let's be honest, the best part. But you remember the music and the booze.
The food anywhere is the most important during cocktail hour. If you have a shitty cocktail hour,
game over.
It takes me a while to get you going.
Yep.
I can tell when there's a shitty cocktail hour.
Yeah.
And there's like the 5 sternos of food, and it's like you got it at like the local
And you know what?
Subway shop. And
I
it's
can always tell when it's a really good DJ where you're almost angry when the actual dinner comes out. Because one, you're not even hungry anymore.
Right.
Let's be honest. You just want to drink and party. And then all of a sudden it's the slow songs coming on because everyone needs to sit and eat their dinner because they're bringing it out to the tables. And like you're just waiting for that beat to drop again where you're like, let's get back onto the dance floor. Like this is a party. And those are the best weddings where I'm sitting there anxiously waiting for the next song.
I love it when I tell when I tell the people at the party. And at this time, ladies and I'll say something along the lines of like, and at this time, ladies and gentlemen, give yourself a big round of applause, or ladies and gentlemen, if you guys had a good time this evening, put your hands together, something like that.
Yeah.
And then I have to tell them. And at this time, we're going to kindly ask that you find your seats as your main course is served. And you hear like 5 or 6 people, and they're like, oh, come on. And it's like, listen, if the venue didn't tell me to sit you guys down, I wouldn't stop.
Of course.
I wouldn't stop. I've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah, we were always kind of parallel in our businesses.
Yeah.
Which is really helpful because I think, 1, being in the wedding industry, 2, being mobile, which like now you have the store, but you're still going out to weddings. You're driving 2 hours. I almost miss the days of being mobile. I really do. It's a lot, and to be able, and my one friend who does makeup and stuff, it's you can talk to your best friend about it, and my best friends are amazing. They hear me complain all the time about if I'm driving up to Connecticut for a wedding party, then I have to be in Cape May. But when you have someone in that industry where you can like just call up and be like, I just had an awful travel day. There was so much traffic, or I hit an accident, or this bride, was upset, or whatever it may be. When you have that person who also is in that same industry and knows what you're going through, it makes a huge difference.
Oh, it's big. I mean, we have invented too much to each other about jobs. Well, you have. I haven't gone out to you, but man, there were some jobs where, looking back on it, if I had told you about it, you would be like,
lost my mind.
Yeah, being your own bosses.
It's so difficult because there's no one else to pawn it off on. It's if someone's upset or we've had this where like we haven't gone back to an email in like 3 minutes. And they wanted that email a minute ago.
Yep.
It's on you. Yeah. And there's no, I'll have my manager handle it. Or, sorry, the clock's over. I'm out of the office. There's none of that when you are a business owner.
Biggest thing I learned is it doesn't matter really what you're going through.
No.
It doesn't.
It does not matter.
There was a very rough patch for me personally a couple months ago. And, I ended up, during that time, just needing to like decompress from everything.
Yeah.
And it was like,
you don't get that.
I can't. Nope. I got a wedding. I got to do this. I can't just go away for a weekend. Yeah. I can't just go away for a month. If you're working your typical 9 to 5, you're gonna go to work, but you can sit in your cubicle and just be like,
sick day.
Fuck, everything is going around. My life is spinning 900 miles an hour. When you're your boss, you can't just sit there and be like, I don't feel like checking the emails today. I don't feel like doing this.
Personal day.
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter. You know why? Because as bad as your day's going, somebody else's day is going so much better, and they're depending on you.
Yep.
And that's why you just have to keep going. You just gotta, I've told people before, you just have to put the emotion out of it.
Yeah.
You just have to get to that point where you just take your emotion, and it's almost like it's not even part of you. It's just here.
Yep.
And I've started to do that more. It makes life a little bit easier to deal with.
Yes, to an extent. I remember it was last year, the year before. I'm so messed up on time management. There was, which as my friend, it was just an awful time for my family. There was so much going on both sides. Someone passed away, and my one other family member was sick. My parents' house burned. It was just, there was so much going on in that one year. And I remember actually being at the funeral and having a bride 2 hours after the funeral, and I forgot my After Dark scrubs. So I showed up to this bride's house in a black dress, sneakers from my trunk with my airbrush kit, hair still done, makeup, mascara still probably down my face. I had slept on my boyfriend's couch for like an hour just to get some rest, and showing up to airbrush this bride. And obviously I didn't tell her details, but she knew I was having a very rough, but I showed up, and it was just what you have to do. It was her and her two bridesmaids, and then there were other times I finally took a vacation. I was like, I'm going to go fly out, see my friend. And I had a bride book last minute, and I, of course, wanted to accommodate her. She was so awesome. And my flight got canceled, and I had to airbrush her that night. And I was up for over 24 hours. Flew back, got the only flight I could thanks to my best friend, and then drove 3 hours up, running, 24 hours a week. And got to her, I think, at 12:30 in the morning, and airbrushed her and 4 other people. But once again, it was just, she wasn't going to go anywhere else. She wanted After Dark, and rightfully so. I had warned her I was going on vacation, but it wasn't going to stop me from getting there. You know, all these little hiccups, because once again, when you're in the wedding industry, like you said, it's the most important day of their life.
Yeah.
And even though you may be having the worst day, your flight got canceled, you had a funeral, whatever, you are a part of that day, and you have to be there. You have to show up with your game face.
Yeah. I don't want to dive too much into it, but on the way to a wedding, I got dumped. And I give her credit because she worked the wedding. But it did not matter what was going on with me. Mm-hmm. I had to make sure that this wedding went off without a hitch.
Yeah.
And there were times where it was like you're getting choked up and you have to go announce something real happy. And what is that song? Christina Perri. I think that's her last name. 1,000 Years.
Oh, God.
It's like, fucking shoot me right now. Like, fuck. And we got through the wedding. Got a great, feedback from it. But it's just another example.
Yeah.
It doesn't
They have
matter.
no idea what's going on.
This is their best day. And if you're tanning, this is a day that they're prepping for, which is their best day. So if you're having a bad day at work, you get in a fight with a sibling or a boyfriend or, a girlfriend or whatever, or somebody pass away.
Yeah.
They're going to tell you they're sorry, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because they're depending on you.
Yeah.
And you came to this agreement that you would be there.
Yeah, of course.
So.
I think the only time I've ever actually canceled, there were 2 times I've canceled besides like a regular weekly booked out client. Like we have weekly clients and bi-weekly, but I had a bride and I woke up with the flu.
Oh.
And I was honest with her. I was like, listen, I will show up. I will wear a mask, gloves. I will wear a hazmat suit if you want me to. But she opted out, which I completely understood that. And during a snowstorm, I tried to get on the road. She was about 2 hours out. And it was down in South Jersey, and I live up here in North Jersey. And I was honest with her, and I said, I cannot risk my life trying to get
this.
To
wasn't the one in the fall, was it? No, that one you had posted on.
I was stuck in 8 hours.
What was it?
Traffic.
Half a mile in 10 hours or something?
Yeah. By the time I got out, it was a full 10 hours. I cried about 7 times. But actually, that was after the tan, though. I got to the tan. It was after that. It was the same day. That was the same day. Yeah. It was a different client.
Right.
I knew the storm was coming. Did not know how bad it was going to hit. It wasn't. It was still a bit light.
We didn't get a lot of snow though.
It just hit all at once.
5 inches. Yeah.
And they weren't plowed, and so I tried to cut through and be smart and take. I took the back road into downtown Patterson to try to hop on 80, and that's where I got stuck for 8 hours.
Yeah, my mom got stuck about 8 hours too from Cedar Grove. On the way back.
And it didn't matter. You could be like down the street from your house and you were stuck, or you could be an hour away.
Yeah, I don't live too far from here. And, oh man, I got a little bit of flack for this, but I posted a video and I kind of mocked it. I live 2 blocks away from here.
Yeah.
And I posted a video because it took me 20 minutes to go 2 blocks. And I was like, I can't believe that I just had to wait that long to get to work.
I would have killed you.
Yeah. And what happened was I was going to here, but across the street is 7-Eleven. So I was really going to 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
Once I made this left turn out of here, there was nobody on that side of the road. So it took me 20 minutes to get from point A to the store.
Yeah.
Once I got through this light, I got to 7-Eleven, and what I was doing that day was going to the gym to work out. While the rest of the states are snowed in, I'm like, yeah, let me go to the gym. And there was no snow on the roads heading into New York, and because we're on the border, and the gym was open. And meanwhile, I'm posting this video, and it's like, it took me 20 fucking minutes to go 2 blocks. This is bullshit, blah, blah, blah. I can't believe I had to wait this long. And people were just like, fuck you, man. Like, I had to wait 8 hours, and then I remember your videos.
I had like half a bag of carrots left.
I'm dying.
I was like trying to conserve my water because there were people where their cars had broken down on the highway or they were walking
it was really bad.
it. And it was one of those things too. I almost wanted to offer people like a carrot stick or water. I keep like little cups like we have here in my trunk. But I was like, if some stranger walked up to me on a highway in a snowstorm, was like, here, have this open cup of water, I would not.
It's like The Walking Dead. There was an episode. So you said you stopped watching after the Glenn thing happened. Did you see the one where? And I'm gonna tie it in. Did you see the one where? Like a tornado hit and there were dogs on the side of the road. No, you had to have. It was before they met Aaron.
Maybe, I mean, it was so long ago.
There was one where they were like held up in a barn and the walkers were coming in, and then there was this big storm at night, and then the walkers just ended up getting killed by the storm. But anyways, there was like water left in the road for the group, and like they didn't drink it.
Well,
Aaron had left the water for them.
Yeah,
I think it was Aaron, but they didn't drink it. But it goes to what you were saying. Mm-hmm. They didn't drink it then, and the world is ending. And it felt like the world was ending here because it was chaos everywhere.
And that's what almost made me really sad too, was because like in this moment of desperation where I saw a stranger, I saw this guy actually get out because we weren't going anywhere, and he took his snow pick brush, and he was just walking around cleaning off people's cars just because why not, you know? Yeah. And I said, you know, everyone's trying to do a good deed right now because we're all in this really awful situation. We're all stuck in downtown Patterson in our cars, like, and here I am, like being like, I want to share my water with you, but like. Now in today's world, like no one would do that.
Oh, no way.
No one would accept that. I go to clients' houses all the time.
The bottle could be unopened and people would not have it.
And it's the same thing. Not that if for any of my clients that would be listening, not that I don't love your water, but especially a newer client, obviously they are always so sweet. They're offering me food, you know, a glass of wine or even a bottle, and it'll be unopened, but I still, myself and staff, never take any food or drinks from any clients, especially new ones. Now, I have some clients who I've been with for 7 years going to their houses where she'll wrap me a little sandwich to go and stuff, and it's me. But anyone else, it's the same thing. The safety measures to take into consideration sending young girls into homes is ridiculous.
Nowadays, too, I don't know if it's worse or if the stories are just magnified. More.
Definitely magnified.
Yeah.
My mom always says that, where it's, you know, bad things were always happening, but you didn't hear about it back then. Now on social media, I could stub my toe out here and you'll know in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's crazy how quick it goes to. And that was, I can remember when I first started with the mobile service, I think it was my father, called me and said a realtor, a young woman, went to go meet someone at an empty house to show them and was killed. And it was like she was just going to go do her job. And that's afterwards we ended up getting pepper spray. Mm-hmm. And we have this little button thing that if anyone comes too close, and I keep one in my car, in my apartment, because I'm a young woman, I live by myself. But if you hold it in the air, it'll probably make them deaf.
Oh, wow.
But, you know, and also the watches, I ended up actually getting a Samsung watch because what's really cool about it is if I click this button 3 times in a row, it'll alert 3 people of my choosing to where my location is automatically so they can call the police. So we actually use this, and when we arrive on location for spray tans, we'll click it 3 times so that way whoever it is knows we've arrived. and knows to look for a code word in case we're in trouble. So, like, serious safety measures.
Yeah, that's incredible that you've taken those measures to ensure safety.
Yeah, because you have to in today's world. And once again, a lot of it is we just hear about it all the time, but it's too risky not to.
It's a strange time to at least in this country, because I think living wise, it's the best time that humans have ever been able to live.
Yeah.
I mean, you go back to like periods like long before this, and like the health was terrible, and like the hygiene was all like, and the wars that were being fought. I mean, you know, we're very fortunate now, but there is this there's two things that really bother me. Number one is the feeling that we're not, I guess the word protected or safe.
Yeah.
You don't always feel that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not one of these people that wakes up every day and is like, oh my God, I got to stay home today. You know, I just go and, you know, if something happens, you react to it. But then there's this other part where people are just offended all the time.
Yeah. Well, and even like with After Dark and everything
That's where I was going to go. Do you find that you have to walk on eggshells maybe a little bit more? Because it's been 10 years, you said?
Yeah.
So how would you equate the first 10 years, which is what, 2009?
Yeah.
To 2019, as far as like the discussions you can have with clients?
Yeah.
Because you're sitting there for a while.
Yeah,
you're
when
seeing
I'm
parts
airbrushing,
and, you know,
trying to keep them
things
busy
are
so they
getting
don't
close.
realize they're naked, and I'm airbrushing in places that they never thought
You're just
existed.
not telling them to cough and look left. You know? Like, so do you find that
one thing I definitely
things have changed a little bit?
I mean, I've always had kind of a rule, and I don't even know where I picked it. It had to be my parents, but where with clients especially, and even most friends, we have the golden rule of like, we typically don't talk about politics and religion.
Right.
It's not worth it. Some of our personalities are different. We may get worked up and stuff. And the same goes for clients. I don't know what they've been through. Mm-hmm. I'm there for the tan. Most of my regular clients I know a lot about. I kind of know their views and how they perceive it, but I just kind of leave mine out of it. Because you don't know, you know, they may be a full left support or right support or whatever, and they have their reasons for doing it, but I'm not going to be able to find out in 30 minutes anyway.
Right.
So I just kind of always leave it. We typically talk about, it sounds funny, but like girl things. I look around, if it's really cute decor, I talk about Wayfair's
Can't say
having
girl
a sale.
things now.
I know.
That's
another thing. I'm going to get in trouble because, you know.
Listen, they're coming after you.
But, and because we get guys who get airbrushed too.
Yeah, and I can guarantee you, 10 years ago, if a guy fitting into this stereotype had said, I'm getting airbrushed tonight, you might catch a few eyebrows.
Yep.
But today,
not as much.
No eyebrows.
But there are, and I have to say, there are some times where
it's not bad.
No. I've gotten an awesome bride or an awesome wife or just, a mom, and the husband or the boyfriend or the significant other sometimes in general is just comes down and can't even be bothered. It's like, hi, I'm so-and-so, what is she going to be orange after this? And it's like, so there's that stereotype of like, oh, this is stupid or silly, or oh, you would never catch me doing it. And then there's other guys that like, after 2 times of us being there, they're like, all right, I'll do my upper body. We're going on vacation.
Yeah.
And then there's couples that actually buy a package together and like split it. And they'll like get it for weddings. They're going to Atlantic City for the weekend. So it's really funny. And they're like super manly men. They're not like,
Yeah, they're just doing it. They want to look good. I mean, listen.
But that stereotype that comes out of it, it's like, oh, I'm not getting a spray tan. It's like, your wife looks awesome. Shut up.
Yeah, you want to take your wife in bed right now. She looks amazing.
Yeah.
Why do you think that you want to see her on a beach?
Yeah.
It's not because she's getting paler.
Yeah.
It's because she's getting more bronze or darker or whatever. And you never hear anybody say, yeah, I can't wait for winter because I want to lose my color.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
That's exactly, and I can't wait to put on those pounds from all those sugar cookies I'm going to be eating. Like,
yeah.
And that's surprisingly, even though like winter tends to be the dead seasons, the holidays and, the shopping and not spending money. And And also just around the holidays, people are just so crazy. The last thing they need to do is like schedule a tan. Get a lot of holiday parties, but and
now,
like Christmas.
When you say parties, what do you mean by that?
So during, like, I want to say between November and December, it is a lot of, oh, I'm going to get like 5 girls from work together. You can come to our office or my house, and because we have a holiday party and we're all wearing nice dresses. That's what we typically see around the holidays. And then from February, we get a lot of
you get
Valentine's Day.
Yeah, National Date Night.
Yeah.
I have my own views on Valentine's Day.
I also get a lot of pregnant women.
Do you?
I do, yes.
Is that because they want to look better, or... So, the only reason why I say that is because some people, when they're pregnant, say, I feel like I don't look as pretty or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like you have a human in you.
Yeah.
You have 2 humans in you or more. Like, you don't look bad.
Yeah.
You're doing
I think they
something.
look amazing.
Yeah, like...
And they never believe me. I always show up and I'm like, you have not gained an ounce since last time I saw you, and you were not pregnant.
Yeah.
And they do not believe me. But maternity shoots, or I've had some women that are just like, I'm going to have doctors around me. I'm going to have my husband, my sister-in-law, and everyone I'm about to give birth. I just want a nice color. We're going to be taking pictures. And so, and they'll go, they got the tan, they got the eyelash extensions, and then they're on Facebook with their babies. And it's awesome though, because one thing that I think is a little bit different too is, nothing, in the wedding industry. It's really great because I get these brides for their engagement party, then their bridal shower, then their bachelorette party, then their wedding. And then it's like, okay, now I'm a guest in a wedding. Now I'm having a baby. This is for my my baby shower, and I kind of get to go through like these super awesome milestones with them, which is so silly to say about spray tanning. Cool. But I talk about it all the time because it's so great. And then I meet their kids, and it's just, I kind of grow with them, and it's just so, and then I meet their best friend who's about to go through it. So like, it's really awesome.
And then over time, you build a bond with them too.
Oh my God, I call them my After Dark family. I show up and like I said, I'll have like wrapped sandwiches waiting for me. Or they'll be like, oh, I want to get a party ticket. I have some of probably the most awesome clients in the world. I am so unbelievably grateful for them.
It's definitely fulfilling. It's another, just, I guess, unintentional benefit of being your own boss is you get to meet so many amazing
different people.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing, like, you don't know where they came from, but you learn things over time. But and some of them, like, I have clients I see one time a year maybe. They're a guest in a wedding or they're going on vacation, but when I see them, we have the best time, and I've gotten invited to christenings. I've been invited to like backyard parties, and do I ever go? Very rarely, because I'm usually exhausted, but there's so many, like you're saying, like so many perks to being your own business owner and like creating these connections, because you have that you can do that when you were just a small business, or whether you're even a medium-sized, large, if you can give that time. But then, like we've said, there's also definitely the downfalls of no days off or vacations during this time of year for us.
Yeah. One of the things I tell people is I have a very unique schedule, and I don't expect you to understand it. It'd be nice if you could accept it, but if you can't, that's fine too.
Yeah.
Then we just kind of got to go our separate ways. But that's another thing. Schedules are just different. Yeah. I mean, me, I have, weekend work, but during the week, I'm free.
Yeah.
And if I have to be available on a weekend, I can get one of my staff to do it, to go and DJ. Somebody that I've trained, somebody I trust, that's going to do the same exact work. And then it's like, well, if I do that, am I really ever even working? If I can just
that weird
send
feeling,
the staff on, and then people don't get it, and they're like, well, you don't really do anything. This isn't even like a real job. I had somebody say that about me. Behind my back. It wasn't anybody I was friends with, but I saw a tweet, and somebody took a screenshot of a tweet. What happened was I was in a little back and forth indirectly with somebody, and so was a friend of mine. And then who we were in a back and forth with, they had somebody that was also going. So it was like a tag team kind of. And the quote was, it was like, you have a lot to say, but you don't even have a real job or something. And I was like, you're right, I don't have a real job because I don't consider this a job.
Yeah.
Like, you can't understand what I do. You think I have to sit at a desk, which I have, but that's because I chose to have a desk.
Yeah.
I've had people tell me that it's a pipe dream, what I'm doing. I've had people say behind my back that, oh, anybody can just push play. Anybody can just download music and push play. Yeah. Behind my back. I know who said it. I know exactly who said it. And if they ever they ever heard the podcast, they would know exactly who they are.
We just called you out.
You know who said it. If I tell you the name, you'll know exactly who said it. And you'll be like, It's somebody you know who's friends with somebody that at one point tried to see if you were available. Way back when we first met.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So we'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
And then I've had an ex-girlfriend, not the one that I just got done with, being in a relationship with. One in the past tell me that's not a real career. And it's like, if you believe that, fine. But, like, there's tons of money here.
Yeah.
And it might not be a real career in your eyes, but...
Well, and I think that's what's so funny, too. I've had so many people...
Yeah, what's the definition of a real career? Is
a
baseball player a real... You're playing a kid's game. Is a football... You're playing a kid's game.
It's ridiculous. When I left my past job... I had a lot of people say, like, oh, well, why would you give that up? And I was like, that was never my career. That job was to go around what I was planning on doing.
That was work.
Yeah, and people don't give enough credit, and I touched on this earlier, where when you're a business owner, it's once again, like, we're both going to go home tonight to our separate apartments, and probably at 2 o'clock in the morning, we're going to remember something that we have to write down, or we're going to have to, your brain never gets to shut off. People who do work the 9 to 5, I get so jealous of, because they're done at 5, they clock, okay, well, I'm just going to go home, watch TV. Oh, honey, you want to go get a drink? Where it's like, oh, but I still have more paperwork to do. Or the amount of times where, my poor boyfriend has shown up at my apartment and I have been like, hair out to here, tears in my eyes because the decimal point was out of place on an Excel sheet, and my accountant needs this, and I need to pay sales tax because we're in 4 states. And fun fact, everyone, New York goes by county, so imagine that when you're a mobile service. So like all these things. So, and then even after dark right now, we're working on manufacturing kits. We're working on releasing a product line. So what am I going home probably tonight and doing is drawing up bottles for what I want the products to look like, because I have a meeting about that next week. So it's just your brain never gets to go off. And whether you're sitting on your bed on a laptop, sitting at a desk in an office, or working 2 jobs and you're at your other job, like we used to try to do, where we would text each other and we'd be like, okay, well, I'm at the hospital right, I have TANs tonight, what would you do if I did that? Where you're bouncing ideas off of, like, you don't get to shut down. And
never.
That's what people tend to not take into consideration, especially if you're like in a beauty or like a service or a wedding service sort of thing. Is like, oh, well, like, you're just tan people. Like, what?
The toughest part is people that don't understand what you're doing, whether it's someone you're fringe friends with, or even relationships are tough. I mean, especially if the person's, let's say, if you're dating someone that's in construction and they're doing manual labor all day, or you're dating someone that's in a cubicle all day and they sit through HR meetings that they just don't fucking care about.
And then it's hard to compare at the end of the night.
And all they do is see you on your phone on the couch.
Yep.
And it's like, I just booked a tan. I just booked. How was your day? It was good. I booked X amount of tans today. How was you? And they
it's like, well, I put 6 polls together.
And I'm tired, and I cut the palm of my hand today,
and you sat
you're
here
just sitting on the couch collecting money.
Or like,
who the fuck are you to do that?
You did 2 tans, and it's like, yeah, but I was in the car for 6 hours today. Like, it's not.
Well, you still sat down. Like.
No, and time management is very difficult too, which also ties back into, and that goes for like clients taking that into consideration, significant others, family members, is once again when people are like, oh, well, you have such flexible hours, it's like, like for me, I'm fortunate where I tend to have weekends off because everyone wants their tans for the weekend. Where it's like, oh, well, you're still like, you're just working during the week and doing this. And it's like, no, but the amount of paperwork you have to do, and then to find that time for paperwork, and then to answer those clients, and then to even as simple as coming for a podcast, and then trying to do this and see.
Right.
Time management is really difficult, and I'm a very organized person.
Yeah, we had to book this podcast, 3.5 weeks ago?
Yeah. Just to stick it in the calendar and hold the date because both of us,
and I texted you, 10 days ago? I was like, don't forget.
Yep. And even last night, I was like, I should text him and tell him I do remember it's in the calendar. But
I texted you today, and I didn't get anything for hours, and I was like, this motherfucker.
It's crazy that time at because I actually have to block time in my calendar to say paperwork or dishes sometimes. Like go home and do the dishes or apartment hunt because I'm moving soon or whatever it is to remind myself things to do. I have like 6 to-do lists of different work. And I find being organized is very helpful in that. But at the same time, it's every time I knock like 10 things off that to-do list. I got all my paperwork done. I got a really tiny laptop.
Here's 17 more.
I do all my paperwork on the road in between tans now. I'll stop in Starbucks, whatever. And I get home and I lay in bed and then I think of 10 more things. And then that pile is right back there.
My favorite is, I have nothing to do tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And then boom, you wake up and your alarm goes off and it's like 6 emails and then the notification meeting at 2 p.m. And it's like, oh no. What did I not remember today?
Yeah. And that's very difficult in itself, especially like you and me, because you may go meet a couple at a Starbucks or for a bite to eat or at the bar or my brother who does the marketing, who you've had on your podcast, same thing. He goes and meets a lot of clients. Is sometimes that last minute thing pops up and you don't want to turn it away.
No,
of course you want to go meet with the couple or you want to do that last minute tan or, but at the same time, when you had already a set schedule for the day and then you're pinpointing, so then that gets backed up to the next day. And that's what makes things really difficult being self-employed again, whether it's a pizzeria, wedding, whatever it is, that's very difficult.
It's your baby. It's your life form.
Yeah.
I mean,
and then to always wonder, you're always pushing for more, but you always wonder, is it enough? Or what more can I do? And we're always going about that. You and I were always bouncing ideas off of each other. You expanding into the wedding planning.
Yeah, that's what I want to do now. I've been toying around with the idea, and I just kind of see it. I mean, if that's not an industry that I should, or an avenue rather that I should be doing, then I don't know what else there is at this point. The amount of connections that I have. I mean,
exactly.
You with tanning, my sister with bridal makeup, the limo and transportation companies that I know, bridal or brides and bridesmaids,
jewelry store next door,
the jewelry store, DJing, photo booths, photography, lighting, bakers. It's like florists, if I didn't name it already, like. And that's another thing. Convenience. We live in a world where people want everything like that.
Oh, yeah.
Like that. And if you're telling me that, what you're doing right now isn't a gold mine because now people don't, number one, have to worry about the health, scares and the health problems associated with.
Now they don't have to leave their house.
Yes. And the second thing I was going to say, they don't even have to leave their house.
Yeah.
And now you have made this convenient and healthy. Like, I think most and more people should be hitting you up for stuff. And if obviously they can't reach out to you, they need to find people similar to that are going to travel to them.
Even for myself, the littlest thing, which I'm sure you probably somewhat utilize too, grocery delivery. Magical.
Yeah.
When I have a crazy week of a million different things and then my weekend is packed, getting that 2-hour window of my groceries may come. And that 2-hour window is an excuse to sit at home. It is amazing.
You could sit at home.
I can't go anywhere because my groceries are coming.
Feet up on the ottoman. Yeah. And you don't have to worry about it even though your heels are still killing you.
Yep.
You don't have to worry about it.
But that convenience, and that's the same thing as we were discussing earlier. I'm a very one-stop shop kind of person too. And I take recommendations very seriously, especially, I have other friends in the wedding industry, and whenever I go to them first, I ask their opinion. And to have that one-stop shop as like a potential one-day bride-to-be, that is a game changer.
Yeah.
Because that is 10 more things off my plate. And that makes a huge difference. Because once again, being self-employed and then you're trying to plan a wedding or a baby shower, or whatever the event is, to be able to come in and nail down almost everything, even if you want to shop around, but to have all these ideas and companies in front of you to pick and choose,
yeah,
totally different.
Yeah, and have somebody that can guide you through it. I mean,
yeah, who has done this 1,000,001 times?
Yeah, too many times. It's I mean, we talked about college. I heard something very interesting so A-Rod is now big in the news because of J-Lo and all that, and they're engaged and all that, but he's got a YouTube channel. And one of the things he posted was he's met with this guy, I think his name's Gary, I don't know his last name, Gary V. He's he's a big entrepreneur. I think he's a sports agent. I don't want to botch it up, but Gary V, he's a relatively young guy, and he is just like very motivating. And A-Rod interviewed him a few times, and for the Barstool podcast that they do and all that. But one of the things that A-Rod said on a vlog on YouTube was, and it has to do with college, was college is good, and I'm short quoting everything, but the overall gist of it was college is good if you want to go work for a company that is requiring X amount of things from you, or if you want to get in a certain field like law or a doctor or things like that. But if you're into starting up a business or you have an idea for something, the best thing to do is get yourself in the room right away with those people. Yeah. And in this case, and he also says always lead with yes and then figure it out. Like, you had a client and, you don't want to turn it down. Yes, I'll do it. How am I going to get there to tan these people? You always go with yes and then figure it out, because you will figure it out. I've had many issues. It seems like there's 100,000 weddings that I could think of where there was an issue that arose, and whether it's my mom, a friend of mine that came and worked, my ex when she was working all those weddings, current staff, they know of times where shit has hit the fan, and you don't plan for it, but you react to it. You say yes, and then you figure it out. And every wedding still goes off without a hitch, just like every tan still goes off without a hitch. You're talking about funerals and stuff. You forgot your scrubs in it, or,
got a change of clothes for that one. So I was so preoccupied.
But you said yes, and, you still did it. And the thing with the plane not taking off on time, and you still figured it out. Yeah. So, you always go with yes, and then you figure it out. But the biggest thing, if you want to own a business and you want to start up, go mobile first, I think. Yeah. I mean,
right now, even today, and as you know, stores are very expensive. It is the upkeep, and especially if you're young, which I'm not saying there's an age where you shouldn't be an entrepreneur, but most entrepreneurs tend to start at between 20s and 30s.
I would think that's the number.
And
that 10-year period.
Nowadays, once again, people don't mind the whole mobile thing. It's not strange. It's not unusual for I sometimes get like, you come to me, but then people are like, awesome, you come to me.
Great. I can be lazy and you can keep going.
But it was all through experience and learning that, because once again, as you were saying, it was yes and then figure it out. It was like, yes, I can tan you. No, I don't have a store, but I'll come to you. It's just figuring that out. But it definitely, I would say it takes a certain type of personality to be an entrepreneur / business owner. One, I go to a lot of networking events and everything, and I'm so lucky. The North Jersey Chamber of Commerce is like awesome. They big open arms. I know I'm young looking. It's tanning salon, you know. But I kind of get the, what do you do? You know, the little side look like, you're pretty young. What are you doing here? You know, it's mortgage people,
like,
real
I'm taking
estate.
over the world. That's
Yeah,
what I'm doing.
and that's what it's like. Oh, well, no, people kept saying, oh, I wish you had products. Well, guess what? We're doing products now. Oh, other companies ask how we're able to do so many mobile tans in one day and how we keep everything organized. Well, I'll teach you how. You know, like, it just expands because, once again, it's like you're saying, that yes factor. And then figuring it hell out.
You have to say
that's why
yes
you need the personality for it.
Yeah.
You know, if you're just one of those people that's like, oh, well, you love pawning it off on the manager or another sales associate, or you think going into owning a business is being the boss and handing it off to someone, then, like, you are not an entrepreneur. There's a huge difference.
You're not going to make it.
Yeah.
You're not going to make it. If you are not... And I said this the other day to somebody that asked me about... Because they're interested in starting up their business. I said, if you are not sleeping, eating, and breathing this idea of yours, it's not going to work.
And that's why you have to love it.
Yes.
You know, do I love, like, you know, I joke, do I love looking at naked women all day? No, right. I don't. Do I love driving around the state of New Jersey? No. But I have an awesome Spotify playlist, and I make a great cup of coffee. And that is how I get it done. And when I get a text or an email or a photo from a bride the next day, or just a client or someone going on vacation, and they're, thank you, I felt so amazing, that is worth it, 100%. That, you know, not sleeping all night afraid they might do something to it before their wedding or whatever it may be, or coming home and I've had airbrush all over my face and my hands and I've smelt like it for 2 days. But it's so worth it when you see those pictures and they just had, as you know, like, the best time. They enjoyed the experience. They love how they look. Whatever it may be, like, that is just worth it.
Did you ever have people that told you, I don't think you should do it, or this is not going to work out for you?
I've gotten a lot of, well, where could this take you?
Yeah, or like, why? Like, what is this? Yeah.
Where I've gotten, like, the and I hate to, and it's nothing against men. A lot of it is men. Like, grown men. They tend to be like, I just don't understand why you would want to do this.
And I get the exact opposite from women.
It's very funny where...
It's a lot of people that you know, though, too, right? Like,
well, they're not afraid to hold back.
Yeah.
You know, when I first started, and I think a lot of my friends started to realize that, where it was like, I remember when I would take some tans at my house in Paramus. I was already an LLC business. I LLC'd, I got, you know, I did the trademark all by myself. I just figured it out. And I had people still referring to me as, like, that tanning girl.
Yeah,
she just does tans. And finally, I was like, no, like, I think it was I wore my scrubs, because if people came to that, I didn't really care what I looked like. I was doing it for a discount. And my logo was on there, and they were like, oh, you have a logo? And I was like, yeah, I'm an LLC company in the state of New Jersey. And they were like, oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know this was, like, an actual, like, thing. Mm-hmm. And I just remember looking at them and being like, get the hell out of my house.
What did you think I was doing?
Yeah, like...
What did you think...
And now they're looking, and it's, like, full time, and it's really funny because we still get those, like, messages where it's like, can you fit me in, like, tomorrow, and can I just come to you? And it's like, no. I've had clients booked out for 6 months already, you know, like... It's funny the way that people are just very like, oh, I thought you were just doing this, like, on the side.
I love people that don't plan, that don't even...
Can you DJ my wedding tomorrow?
Yeah. Oh, my God. I had somebody one time ask me if I could DJ their wedding in 2.5 weeks.
Ooh.
I looked at the schedule, and it was open, and I said, yes. And here was the price increase.
Yeah.
Boom. You needed 2.5 weeks from now? Okay, now we have to plan...
Time management.
Everything. And I have other weddings I have to do.
Yeah.
So my inconvenience is now coming out.
We'll also say, you know, we'll get asked about our pricing, you know, and it's all our pricing is on the website.
Yeah, and you love doing what you do, you know, and I love doing what I do, and it's just like, you have to, if you're planning anything, you know, if somebody knows they have a party coming up, and they know that their looks are so important for their big event, even if they're just a guest in it, you have to plan in advance, you know?
It's crazy, actually, the amount of last minute, which if I can accommodate, I absolutely do.
Of
Especially if they're
course.
regular,
Of
because I'm like, it's
course.
easier. But no, it's really funny because I'll get, emails from like Connecticut. Be like, I have an event tomorrow. Can you please come to? And we're like, we can't. We physically can't because
Yeah.
we're down in South Jersey, or we're over here or over there, and that's what. Or they'll ask like, why is the travel fee so high? Like, well, because we're coming from 3 hours away.
Right.
That's why. So that's why we try to push more like groups to split the travel fee up and stuff. But once again, it's that time management of like, I would absolutely love to accommodate you, but I actually physically can't get to you. But at the same time, I'm always pushing people. I'm like, yeah, just reach out whenever you need one. Just because if there's a cancellation. I had a bridal party cancel not too long ago. I think it was like a party of 5. So not that large. But the wedding actually got like called off. And I had blocked out the entire night. And she offered to pay. And she said, I'm so sorry. It was such a last minute cancellation. I said, absolutely not. I will not take your money. She was an awesome, awesome girl. I'd done a couple of trials with her. And I had another 3 girls reach out last minute. They were going to like Punta Cana. I was like, sure, we'll absolutely take you. And it worked out, but so I always tell people like definitely reach out last minute, but it was also very local. So it depends. Right. And that's why for this hiring process, I'm trying to do more local areas. So I'd rather hire someone up in Connecticut, hire someone out in New York, different parts of Jersey, Pennsylvania, and just kind of do it that way to help bring down like travel fees and just make it a little bit more accommodating for last minute bookings. But once again, time management.
Time management.
Got to figure out when to do that too.
Yeah, good luck with that. When you figure that out, you let me know.
Yeah, right? The golden secret.
Yeah, figure it out. And also have a social life.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Good luck.
That'd be
Good luck. Listen, you've got a very big thing in your life taken care of, and that's being in a relationship with somebody who is understanding.
Yeah.
I'm assuming he's understanding of how hectic things are. And that's amazing.
I was going to say, definitely hit the jackpot with that because I feel like, as we were saying, like business owners, especially wedding industry where you might be working weekends or nights. I work a lot of nights. For someone to be like, that's cool, is very hard to find.
Hey, that's cool. I'm not going to question what you're doing out late at night.
Yeah, until 12 o'clock in the morning.
Luck.
And on the road, and here I am, really on the road, drinking like my French vanilla coffee, rocking out to Backstreet Boys.
Yeah. It's like, well, here's my receipt to show you where I was and what I drank, and here's the Spotify playlist time.
And then I'm after a bad day, I'm calling him at like 12 a.m. and he's in bed, and I'm like, "You'll never believe I got stuck behind a truck, and then I almost got." And he's like, no, that's
a lot of credit to him. I mean, listen, he doesn't get to see you a lot, and then you're yelling.
That's it.
Yeah.
And then like the Saturday comes. And we maybe have a great day, and I'm like, oh, this is nice. We're camping, we're doing whatever. And then Sunday comes, and I'm stressed again. So it just starts all over again. The man's a saint.
I thought that this was over.
I did good.
I thought it was over.
I fed you alcohol and food. What else did you want?
Nah, people, listen. It's not for everybody. And I say that meaning to date and to be with an entrepreneur when they're starting out. It's much easier for someone to date an established entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Like,
that has maybe more of a steady schedule.
Yeah, we've all had problems with dating, holding a relationship, and owning a business.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you've had your ups and downs, not to dive into it too much. Yeah. I definitely did. One of the last things that was told to me was I need my weekends.
Yeah.
And that's fair. It's not for everybody.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. Being an entrepreneur, you have to understand, especially in the beginning, even financially, there's a lot of sacrifices.
Yeah.
There's a lot of nights where it's like,
I'd love that trip to Disney, but at the same time, I really need 3 new mobile kits.
Yeah, and I'm trying to diet, but the pizza's only $175.
And I still have so much work to do.
Yeah, and it's just across the street. Or the Taco Bell down the road is under $10, and the steak that I want is $24. So, it's it's a process.
Yeah. I think it just takes a lot of patience on the other hand. You know, I read a blog one time, and I wish I had the name of it because it was such a good read. But it was like a letter to anyone dating a small business owner or a business owner, whatever it was. And the first thing in big capital letters, it just said like patience.
Yeah.
It was like, because there's going to be slow season, there's going to be a busy season, and both are equally going to be very stressful.
Yeah.
The holidays are, and I know during the holidays, I think I had vented to you more than like 100 times because it's so hard because it's slow season, but it just seems that like everyone books last minute.
Yeah.
And then
Everything.
your family's in town and there's holiday parties and you have to be here and do that. And then, you know, and this past holiday season, I was extremely stressed. And it's just, and then all of a sudden there's nothing. And then you're like, am I even in business? What am I doing?
And
and then you get slammed and then you're like, I can't keep up. What am I doing? You know? And so it's that constant, so it's just, it's patience.
It feels like you go from, to equate to what you're saying, give it a visual effect. It feels like you're in two separate places all of a sudden. Like, it's so busy that you're going through, like, this tidal wave and it's crashing. And then all of a sudden, there's nothing. And it's like...
What I do?
It's like the tundra and it's just, like, cold and gray and nothing and quiet. And you're looking around and you're like, where's the work?
Yeah.
And then, boom, it hits you again.
Yep.
You're getting crashed by a tidal wave on the beach of Hawaii somewhere. And it's never just a nice, smooth thing. God, I would love to get to that point. Life is good. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. I'm really enjoying it. But, wow, it is just a pinball machine.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's just a constant up and down battle. Where I think it was like a week ago, it was for every one email we sent out, 3 more came in, which is so great, not complaining. But it was just, you offer an appointment here, then you got to block it off, and then you're doing here, and then they want to switch. And just trying to pinpoint and manage everything because for us, phone calls are not feasible. It's very difficult to schedule over the phone because we have to look at miles. Is there a back way? How many tolls are we hitting? What's the parking situation? Where are we before that? Where are we after? So what times can we offer? Does it fit into any of the schedules? So email and text are always best. New clients have to email. So it's a back and forth thing, and we hold appointment offers for 48 hours. So we'll offer, say, 2 times for a day they requested. We'll block it off for 48 hours so it has an expiration date, and then we come back to it. We'll try to follow up, whatever it may be. But so what just kept happening was I was like, oh, busy season's coming soon. And then it just smack dab hit me in the face. And it was just, like I said, for every one email, there was 3 more coming in. And we'd be on the road, and then I'd be like, we have to get back to it. It was just a whirlwind. But it's so great. But then, like I said, it's dead season. Then you're sitting there and it's like, do I matter anymore? Is After Dark okay? Was there a bad review? You know,
who said what about me on the internet?
So but it's fun.
How do you feel about the internet and that sort of feedback?
It's the greatest and worst thing in the world.
Yeah, it's both a blessing and a curse, right?
Yeah.
I tell you, I mean, thank God for my clients. They say some really tremendous things. But there are some businesses out there that just don't have good reviews. And I'm trying to figure out, you know, are they even looking at it?
It's so hard. I mean, luckily, both of our companies, knock on wood, have amazing reviews from amazing clients. And same thing with, like, our Wedding Wire award, your Not award, you know.
2-time winner.
Yeah. And winning the 201 Best of Bergen, like, that was awesome.
Congratulations.
And it's all such great things, but it's like one bad review on Yelp or Wedding Wire and all that just...
Done.
Yeah. It's crazy how that can happen. So I feel like now there's even more of that... the overcompensating almost to make sure, like, okay, they were happy. You were happy, right?
Yeah.
And then we're harassing for those reviews. You were happy, right? You want to review us? And
so you were great, right?
Yeah. You know, so it's that every couple of months we send out a campaign, like, review us, you know.
Yeah. You had a good time? Oh, good. I'm glad I could be a part of your day. Hey, can you do this thing for me real quick?
Just 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes.
I just need you to write the nicest thing possible.
Yeah. What did you love, you know?
10 out of 10.
And luckily, I've never actually... I think in like 10 years, I've had one, maybe two unhappy clients.
You're gonna get them. I mean,
Yeah.
for anybody to say that they have this perfect resume, it's bullshit.
Yeah.
Because you know who didn't write the reviews then? The
Exactly.
people that didn't like your work.
Yeah. So it's luckily I've only had actual 2 complaints to the business where we've gotten an email. One was she just didn't think her tan was dark enough, and the other one was she just didn't like it. She didn't like the airbrushing process. She felt uncomfortable. She felt sticky, or and to each their own.
You're not gonna please everybody. You're not.
Yeah, and especially newer clients, that's something we always have to take into account.
Yeah.
It's like, it is not laying out in the sun.
No. Well, it's like anything, to get to that point, or to go back to what I just said, you're not going to please everybody. For instance, they may not like a tan. They may not like my music. They, some people like Obama. Some people like Trump. Some people hate both of them. Some people like a Tom Cruise movie, and some people don't. Dane Cook is funny to some people and he's not to others.
Horror movies are the best.
Yeah. Some people believe that, and some people think that Freddy and Jason is the softest people on the planet.
That's right. I'm a Michael fan anyway.
Yeah. Well, some people think they could take Michael on. Not me.
We won't get into that debate today on that podcast.
Well.
But the next one we will.
Well, I gotta ask you about it. Since
talking about my blood mat?
No, but yes. And now I'm gonna post a video montage clip of it. It's gonna go up there. Yeah. Well, so you're a horror. Okay. You know what? Let's go away from business for a second, right? We've talked a long time about business. We've had a great podcast, but let's get to you, the person, for a second. Right? We're pretty far into it, so maybe people tuned out by now.
Hopefully.
You're a big horror movie person.
I am.
Why? What draws you to it? Like when you sit down and you watch it, and what's your favorite movie of all time?
Halloween.
Okay. When you sit down and watch it, right, you get your favorite food to eat. It's Friday night. The weather's exactly how you want it.
Dark and rainy.
Yes, dark and rainy. Elvira's watching you in the corner. Why? And I'm not asking like a condescending way. I'm just saying, why? What does it for you?
It sounds so weird, but it's actually really corny. So what classic horror movies do? I'm not saying I go sit down and watch a Saw movie and I get like a warm fuzzy feeling in my stomach. That is not the case. I am not a psychopath. But like Halloween, Friday 13th, mostly Friday 13th Part 2 though. Nightmare on Elm Street, it's kind of like a Christmas movie. Like what people feel while watching a Christmas movie. And I get that way about Christmas movies too. Don't get me wrong. I have my classics. But I get warm and fuzzy over it because Halloween is kind of like my brother and I's like Christmas. Like it's something we bonded over immediately. He's 9 years older than me. So growing up, I was very, very lucky that he was very down to earth about horror movies, let me watch them mostly, especially when it's like, oh, and your girlfriend are watching a movie, let me join. He was the best big brother in the world, but that was like our bonding thing. And like on Easter, we would eat Chinese food and watch horror movies after our parents divorced. And like, it's like a bonding thing. So that just makes me feel good. It's like, and I was very fortunate to know they're not real. It was constantly reminded, like, there's a guy behind that mask.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
Most people grow up to be afraid of them, where it was like, that's not real. That's like an actor, and it was, so that's the way I always kind of view it. Where, don't get me wrong, there's some movies, jump scares, or the gore.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the jump scare movies where like the camera spins for a second, comes straight, and then boom, he or she is right there.
Well, I always tell people, fun fact, if you're walking through a haunted house or you're sitting down in a movie theater watching a movie that's going to jump scare you, shut off half of your senses. Shut one ear, shut another eye, and then half your senses are cut off, because when people jump scare, so they're going to jump out, they're typically going to try to touch you and they're going to scream, and half your senses are cut off, it desensitizes you. Yeah. So fun fact.
Wow.
I'm a queen. But,
interesting.
So that's
you
pretty
are
much.
A psychopath.
Because I'm not really a fan of the jump scares. I'm not really a fan of the gore. I watch them all, but like,
yeah,
it's like some of my favorite cult classics, if you actually watch, which most people don't realize, there's no blood. They couldn't afford blood. They couldn't even afford a ketchup bottle to squirt. Watch Halloween. There's no blood.
Nothing.
That was just a man in a mask walking around very creepily. And that's what scared people. But there's and I really like science behind horror movies. I like the way, if you listen to John Carpenter talk, or like, you know, anyone who's directed a horror movie, there's such a science behind the scare. And the reason Halloween stuck out to me always was he wasn't meant to have a backstory. He was meant to be scary because there was a dude in a mask that just wanted to kill people. And what's interesting is humans typically can't wrap our minds behind that. We always need a reason. Like, why? But why is he doing it? So here comes the second one and everything. Oh, it's Laurie's brother. That's why he came. Yeah. But
Did they give him a backstory?
John never wanted a backstory.
Okay.
So that's why this, Halloween reboot in 2018, where Laurie Strode comes back, that's why because he was directing it, assisting, he erased that. Because Michael wasn't supposed to be her brother.
So it's like a canon where one is canon and one's not.
So it was that first one, and then everything in between was erased, and then it's 2018.
How did he erase it? Did he come out publicly and just say that these are not part of that? Yeah. Okay.
So it was really awesome because, like,
you get two different.
There is in the Halloween.
Michael's, right? Michael's the guy in it, right? Halloween?
Michael, yeah.
Yeah.
So he comes back to kill Laurie, and she's pretty prepared for it.
Isn't she really doomsday preppered out in this one?
Yeah.
She's ready to.
And I don't want to give anything away, but my brother and I, we both went to see it the night it came out because that's our thing, and we were really impressed. But I told everyone, because everyone messaged me for a review immediately. Mm-hmm. And I said, if you go into it thinking of any of the other ones or walking within anticipation of what the other ones were like, you're not going to enjoy it. You have to go, and I don't mean that you have to be a total fan of cult classics or just the original, but you had to really go in the mindset that other world didn't exist.
Right.
And when you erase all that, you can appreciate what this movie was. If you were looking for jump scares and gore, go watch Saw. Because so many people just are used to that now, that over, The Purge and all that kind of stuff.
Never watched a single Purge movie.
Those kind of creep me out.
To me, it just felt dumb. But then recently it's if I had one night where I could fuck shit up.
That's what, The Purge typically scared me. Just because to me, it's dumb, but I was like, could that happen?
It could.
It's the Saws kind of creep me out, or Strangers, where I'm like, all right, I go camping a lot, that's a possibility, some psychopath, but the cult classics are really it just makes you I hear that theme song come on and it's like hearing a Christmas movie start.
It brings you back to a good time though, because it's more than just the movie, it's you and your brother.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. When you tie it into that's a family thing for me.
Right.
All during October, we try almost once or twice to watch Halloween movies together. I
always find that when you are able to sit down and tell yourself, all right, I'm going to go on a streak of watching movies. For me, it's Christmas.
I know, you are a very Christmas person.
And I bang out I try to get to 10 movies in the month.
Yeah.
So many hours, probably before bed. Here's one. I usually end up watching the same couple over, over and over again. But there's no better feeling when you're like, all right, I'm going to do this. And this is my relaxation time. And it's an hour and a half or 2 hours. I think everybody needs that.
Yeah.
Whether you own a business or whether you work for somebody else and you love your job or you hate your job, I think that
that's
you need that time.
October is really my me time. I have, and you've seen it in my Instagram pictures, my LED leaves and my candles lit and everything's
There's no better time to start decorating, in my opinion, than the fall.
Yeah.
I think the fall, and I try to get September, but the fall's not September. October.
I start in September just to really, I really want to appreciate the fall leaves and, so September 1st hits and I'm kind of already starting
candles
that.
out.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then just because I feel like midway through November, it's already the holidays. You start to plan, and then that's when everything switches to Christmas. And then like December 26th, game over. I'm the Grinch. I'm marking it down.
I have a problem with Christmas. Here's my problem. It should be, and excluding all other parts of the world, if you will, aside. Because I'm going based on where I live.
Where it snows more now than it does in December.
Yes. Christmas should be in February. And here's why. And also, Christmas should be in February, and Valentine's Day should be in December. And here's why. Because Christmas, well, first of all, it's not really that cold, or it's not cold enough not to be able to go out on a date in December. You got your 40s, you got your 38s. Yeah, sure, some places are like 28. You still can go out. February, it's snowing, it sucks, it's cold, and it's gray. Now, here's also why I think Christmas should be in February and Valentine's Day in December. Because going into Halloween, you have your lights, you have your decorations, right?
Yes.
In Halloween. So some people may overlap that another week or so into December, or into November rather. Then November you have Thanksgiving, and it's a very feel-good holiday where like you have your family together. So then I say continue that and make it a little bit more intimate the next month with Valentine's Day. So now you've kind of said, all right, everybody in the family is good. Now I'm going to take out...
I do have to say, yes, going from Thanksgiving to Christmas, now that I am an adult, is very stressful.
Yeah. I would say go to Thanksgiving to National Date Night.
Yeah.
And then that following week, you have New Year's, and you have fireworks and the ball dropping, and then, oh, guess what? Now we have 2 months, all of January and February,
I can see that.
where we got the lights up, we got the tree going on, it's snowing now, and you know what? It's not nearly as gray and shitty feeling out because you have all these decorations.
I could see that.
That's why I would do that. And the reason also why I say that is because, as far as I know, there's no exact date that they've nailed down to when, if you're getting religious, that Jesus was born. I think they actually think it was sometime in the warmer months, if you will, like the spring or the summer. December 25th is just a day that they acknowledge that he was born. They don't actually know like an exact day. So move this fucking day to February.
Well, that's like some of these holidays. I'm like, just move them to Saturday. Like St. Patrick's Day, Halloween. Just
make everything
put it for
the
that
third Saturday in every month, and that's it.
Because like for me, once again, Halloween is like my favorite holiday.
Halloween should be on a weekend. It should never fall on a weekday because you have
just
the parties
for safety of kids.
And you have the kids that want to go out and they want to trick or treat.
Yeah.
And if you got the kids that want to throw the eggs around and stuff like that, do it on a Friday night, whatever. We're doing it on Saturday night, whatever.
Which is very you won't see that anymore.
No.
I don't see Cabbage Night being celebrated anymore. Even trick or treating, it's all the trunk or treats and everything. And I sit there and I tell Ryan all the time, like, our kids they're going to be trick or treating. And I'm like, all right, but I guess if no other kids are doing it.
I remember being in
it's my favorite.
4th grade, 3rd grade. There was a few friends that lived up the block from me. And I remember I painted my face like Sting. And I was the white and black version. And another friend of mine who lived up the road, he was the red and black version of Sting. And we went trick-or-treating, and the sun was going down, and it was kind of getting cooler out, but it was like, it wasn't too cold, but it was just like a fun time.
Yeah.
Everybody went around, and you had the pillowcases.
Yeah.
You didn't even have a bed, you had pillowcases. And, man, I just fucking miss the 90s sometimes.
That
Get
was
me
so
the
good.
fuck back there.
I would
Because
always try to wear like a really cute, like, you know, like I always wanted to be Jasmine. She got to wear, and here's my mom.
Yeah.
I had a turtleneck on up to here, not even like a matching color to the outfit. It was just, but like that was the best.
It
and I
was
always-
fun.
Yeah, and
You
now
could-
everyone's afraid, and
You could be whatever. Your costume didn't even have to be perfect. My mom, I wanted to be a Power Ranger.
please tell me
and-
she made it.
Oh, she did. And she made it out of wool.
Oh,
Yeah,
poor
you
thing.
talk 90s where the parents try to do the right thing. And she hemmed it from side to side. And I'm sure it would be really comfortable in February. But man, I sweat my ass
I
off
was gonna
that
say
thing.
you're probably the warmest kid that October.
Yeah, and I had like the Power Ranger mask where like it had the elastic band on the back. Yeah, and I wore a white turtleneck too underneath.
I was a big Power Ranger, and I had the same thing, the white turtleneck.
So you talk about being double hot now. This is way before Under Armour ever came out.
Yeah.
We had the breathable stuff. I had a turtleneck and this
amazing.
wool, like, yeah, like the inside of a sweater, like, but it was on the outside too. I would love to find a photo of that because you know how the Power Rangers had the diamond looking things? Yeah, she cut those out in white. Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah, and then I guess I drew the dinosaur. I was the Red Ranger, so it was like, I don't know if actually they put. I know at one point they put the logos on the center,
I was
right?
gonna say, yeah.
I think so. I feel
I
like
don't
this.
know if the '90s ones had it.
I feel like this is gonna be one of those Mandela effects where like, did they have
We're saying
the
that,
logo?
and now we're gonna be like researching it all night. No, I was the Pink Power Ranger for like a couple years. My mom, surprisingly, for my brother and I, loving October and loving Halloween and pumpkin picking, and hates Halloween.
Your mom.
She does not like it. It wasn't like she sat and was like, watch this horror movie. You know, it was just something completely my brother and I did.
Is she anti like gore and all that stuff? Like typically?
She doesn't like gore. She likes like psychological like thrillers. She'll watch those.
So like, what channel is that?
Like it's like she'll watch like not the sci-fi.
What's the channel? The ID Network.
She lives off of the ID Network.
Hate the ID channel.
She it's like Snap.
I don't hate the ID channel, but
It's not great to watch at like 1:00 in the morning by yourself in your apartment.
there was someone I was dating and her mother and her used to sit down for hours and watch the ID channel. And I would be like, so you like watching people get fucked up, like, and die.
And that's what's so funny because like these are real, you know.
Yeah.
It's like they're
Yes, yeah. And I'm like,
I'll
what is
watch
going
it,
on? Who am I dating right now?
But my mom is like religious with that. It is always on, and so we always just thought it was really funny that like she'll like during Halloween if we're camping, she has a camper up in Sussex. My brother and I and
come out
my
with a
sister-in-law. Well, they have like a porch, a screened-in porch, and we set up our blow-up mattresses, and there's a TV out there, and my mom sits in her chair. She'll watch them with us. She'll watch, like, The Exorcist. We'll put on some classics. But, like, she mostly falls asleep. Like, she's not interested. She never bought me, like, crazy Halloween costumes. It was usually my dance recital outfit, whatever it was that year. I think it was Dorothy, like, 3 years in a row. And,
I was Tino Martinez probably like 10 times when I was growing up, so.
But it's really funny to see like how she was just never a fan, and yet here we are, and like she just sits there and sleeps.
Well, that's interesting you say that because my dad, he didn't understand, and now he does. And now he's full on board with it. He didn't understand the whole concept of me DJing.
Yeah.
And he would go to my mom. He'd be like, "I don't want this techno music being played," because I started playing in, you know, I guess homes used to have them. I don't know if they still do, but a playroom downstairs where the kids could play. So as I got older, I set up the equipment down there, and I would put the music on very low because I got 2 speakers rocking out, and I could get the whole neighborhood hearing it if I wanted to. But I turned it like very low. Like, just so I could hear it right next to my ear. And I guess the songs were suggestive or something. And he, you know, obviously at that point, I didn't have any bookings. And I was working odd-end jobs. And he's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, no. And then there was, now he's on board with it because It's like you go back to the office jobs where you're like, you know, the whole authority thing. You're just, it's not you. Me, it was like, no, I want to do this so too fucking bad. Like, but with my my dad also to go into like entertainment side, he does not. I mean, he's watched a few of them, but I could tell you it's not his thing.
Yeah.
The Walking Dead, and I'm big. If you know me, I am big into that show. I can't believe you didn't watch last week's episode.
No, I'm very far behind.
With Alpha, and I'll just call it the Pikes. And anybody that's listening to this will know exactly what I'm talking about.
I always have to remind people, I don't have cable.
Right.
So I have to wait for everything to come out. And I'm never home to begin with. But
I have to give you a source that I have.
Oh, a source.
Yeah. Can't say it much more on here.
Because that's, maybe I do have it. I don't know. Maybe I do have AMC. I'm not sure. I have to look, but I'm way behind on a lot of shows and different.
I just want to spoil the shit out of it right now.
Well, can you not?
People die. That's where we'll go with that.
Nice.
People die. So yeah, that's pretty much it. What are you watching these days?
Honestly, I'm just trying to catch up on things. Like, I'm watching my usual shows.
What's your favorite show out right now? Like, favorite show that you're watching right now? It could be a rerun.
I'm even trying to think. That's a hard one. Because right now I'm just so used to throwing on, like, Friends.
So Friends it is.
Yeah, actually.
Is that the one where they say the one where?
Yeah.
And then,
Oh, yeah. It's my go-to because I've seen it so many times that if I'm doing paperwork or something, it's not killing me to not see it.
Like, it's on, you hear a joke that's said.
Yeah.
It's like your friends are over, you know?
But there's so many other shows that I also like that are slowly coming back on Netflix. It's with Drew Barrymore, the Santa Clarita Diet.
Oh, yeah.
I
heard about that.
Hilarious. So that show's coming back. Sabrina on Netflix. The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. I love that show. And I also really like, which is so weird for me, and you're going to, like, judge me so harshly for it, because it doesn't sound like me, but those medical shows like The Good Doctor, The Resident. Okay. Once again, it's more my paperwork shows. Like, I'll be doing paperwork or planning stuff and those are on in the background, but, like, they're a good tearjerker. Brings me back to, like, you know, emotion sometimes.
It makes you feel human.
Yeah.
How did you ever watch House?
Yes, back
House
in the day.
is great.
My father loved that show.
Yeah.
It was hilarious. And that's what I think a lot of it is, like, some of these shows are actually, like, decently funny and well written and like Grey's Anatomy, I fell off of years ago. It just, there's certain shows to me, just like, you need to just give it a
just gotta kind of got to wrap it up. That's what they're doing with the show that you got me into, Arrow.
Arrow, yeah.
So sad.
I know. I knew when I saw that news report how sad you were going to be.
It's your fault, too. You got me into it. I'm hooked. Did you see the crossover for this past season?
No, I'm not caught up on Flash, Arrow.
I don't even know who you are anymore. You can leave now. Podcast is over.
You know what it is? CW is very difficult because they don't release things until like 2 weeks after their finales.
Oh yeah, you got the
Hulu
whole
or
cable
Netflix
thing.
or whatever it is. So it's really hard to catch up on those because by the time it comes out, I'm into another show. So that's actually how that happened. When I had cable, it was weekly.
What was the last thing that you saw from?
Oh, I wouldn't even know.
I guess the Arrow Flash universe.
I would have to backtrack.
Did you see him in the prison?
I don't even remember.
No, you would know because it's like the whole season he's in prison.
Yeah.
It was a good season. Very good. Did you see where they blew up the island?
Once again, it's
so
been like
I don't want to give away anything. It's good.
Oh yeah, and I have especially now that it's going on, I know it's going to be available on like Netflix or Hulu, so I have to catch up on that.
I can't believe that you didn't even see Rick Grimes' last episode.
No. Well, there was no point. Why was I going to turn that on when I haven't seen?
It's not correlated with. I mean, it is, but it's not really correlated with what's going on in the show.
I was saying to was my brother or someone recently when we were talking about it, where I was like, I'd rather just have like a full weekend binge, you know.
Yeah, you should definitely do it.
I was waiting for a good
that.
snowstorm, like a weekend snowstorm. And I was like, of course, when I need one, it doesn't come.
We got lucky though with weather this year.
Yes, especially when you own a mobile business.
Yeah, mobile's fun.
Luckily, most snowstorms were on either weekends or early in the week, where I didn't have a lot of clients, because it is a nightmare to reschedule when you have weekend, like clients looking for the weekend, and you can't get down to them if they're like 2 hours away in a snowstorm. Oops.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to get going anywhere. But with that said,
Speaking of,
how do we want to wrap this up?
I was gonna say, we've been talking for quite a while now.
We have talked for a while. This is
Killed it.
This is the longest podcast that
Woo!
we've aired to date, over 2 hours.
Nice.
Yeah, we did work on here. We tested a drink.
We're gonna have to try better next time.
I don't think it wasn't it was just okay.
It was okay.
It was okay.
Just, you know what it is? It's, once again, the vodka portion was a little stronger.
It had the
kickback.
That like spiky feeling. Not like drug spiky, but like where it's
smooth.
like,
That's what it is. It wasn't
sharp,
smooth.
like a jagged feeling. The taste wasn't bad though.
No, it was all right. Got to keep it on, on stock here.
Yeah.
But we definitely gonna have to try the blue drinks.
Yes, next time, hopefully soon. I think we got to do this more than once. We got to do a blue. We're gonna do a blue drink. So we did orange, like a red, grapefruit. It's like that pinkish orange kind of looking. So blue is next, and then after that we'll maybe a green.
You got to invest in a blender for the
a blender is coming
GSE
here.
HQ.
So where can people find you? On the gram and Facebook and all that, so they can contact you for your services.
Easiest way to find us is #AfterDarkTan. We're on Facebook, Instagram, but if you just Google us, we should pop right up, After Dark Airbrush Tanning. And Instagram. Instagram has all our pictures. We have a gallery on the website. Go look at the pictures, and then we accept all bookings through emails right from the website. So really convenient.
What's your email address?
contact@afterdarkairbrushtan.com.
contact@afterdarkairbrushtan.com. Remember that. Replay this portion of the podcast so you can write that down again. And Tracy, it has been a blast.
Thank you.
I'm glad we got to do this. Till next time.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, everybody. Bye.